Disclaimer, this game is trash. Do not buy it. What up, my dude? So, I already warned you boys in a video before this game even came out. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Okay? Now that it has came out, my opinion holds exactly the same, even more so. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's a $25 game at the most. I mean, I'm talking at the maximum. And I'm just going to come out and say it right now. For its time, it is the worst milestone game I have ever played for its time. Period. I mean, that should go to show you something right there. That should go to tell you something right there. Now, if you've never really played any of these milestone games before, you've not been riding on these same exact tracks over and over and over and over, right? And you care more about graphics than gameplay, sure, buddy. And you got, more money than you know what to do with, sure, buddy. Go in there and buy MXGP 2021. Sure, dude. But for, the rest of actual normal human beings in this world, this is terrible. This is terrible. So before I can even talk about the game itself, we need to talk about all of the bugs in the game. This is the most bug-ridden milestone game I've ever played on day one, without a doubt.
What the fuck?
And by the way, I'm playing this game on PC, so you might have a slightly different experience on a certain console. Nonetheless, I play all these games on PC, and I swear to God, this one's got more problems with it bug-wise than any other milestone game I've played. It's terrible. Where do I even start? Like, the whip animation is buggy level 2 slow when you turn both of your thumbsticks the opposite direction, like the old school whip style that you used to, the way you used to throw whips in these milestone games back in the day. The whip animation is so slow. I'm telling you, you can turn both your thumbsticks maximum trying to bring it back around, and you simply can't do it. Now, when you turn both your thumbsticks the same direction, it's a lot quicker of an animation, and you can bring it back around, but I'm talking about specifically turning both your thumbsticks opposite directions to whip. It's like half the speed that it should be, okay? They had this same exact problem in Supercross 2, and they fixed that in the very first update. They literally fixed that. So we seem to be having the same bugs and issues that we had in games all the way back to the Supercross 2 days, dog. Okay? The standard third-person camera in the game is totally bugged, right? So when you try to whip the bike, it literally clips in your rider model, and the bike will clip into the bottom of the screen where you can't even see what you're doing. You can't even see the bike anymore. It's actually broken. The third-person cameras are broken. Whipping by turning both your thumbsticks opposite directions is broken. The physics themselves, I mean, just like...
What the fuck?
There's so many moments when you're playing this game where the bike will just spaz out on you, dog. I'm talking like... Drank too many Monster Energies, dude. Too many Red Bulls, man. You don't need that many wings, dude. Like, the bike, the physics itself, you can just feel it bugging out. Totally spazzing out. When you'll hit like a certain corner in a certain way, or you get on the brakes in a certain kind of way, or you try to whip the bike a certain kind of way, or you hit like the smallest little off-track bump or whatever, and the bike just loses all control. Barely touch somebody's back wheel when you land, and you're gonna die. Like, no way around it, dude. You're gonna die. There is some massive bugs to landing in this game. It's like any little thing can totally throw off the physics of the bike. Any little thing that you do, it is unbelievable what that does in this game with how buggy the core to the physics feel. This is the most, when I say it feels like they didn't even test this game before it came out on PC, I literally mean it feels like they didn't even test the game. Just compared to some of the other milestone games we've had, right? So a lot of you guys are going to be wondering, well, are the tracks any different, Spencer? So this is the whole thing with the tracks right here, okay? They're the exact same scaling. Yes, they did on some tracks add a little bit of micro roughness pre-made, and they made some of the ruts a little bit bigger, but it's really not as good as you would think, and I'll get to that in a second, but that's the only thing that's been changed with these tracks, okay? It's the exact same scaling. It's the exact same track width, right? So you don't have this, like, more expanded track feeling. It feels like the exact same tracks you've been riding on for 69 years in these games. They're too narrow. You barely come off of the ground on the jumps. They feel like, 25-foot backyard doubles that you built with your brother, in 5 seconds with a shovel, okay? You barely even come off the ground in the entire game. It still has that anti-air time feeling to it. You barely come off the ground anywhere. But I want to really dive deep into this. Even though, yes, they've added a little bit more pre-made roughness and a little bit bigger pre-made ruts, okay? It's not like you would think. It feels to me like they slapped that in there last second. Like, oh my God, dude, if we don't change these tracks any more than this, people's going to lose their shit. So it's not like they took the time to go in there and actually make the roughness work itself into the ruts in the corners and, try to make the ruts different sizes in the corner to where it balances out the ruts, where it's like, okay, the rut on the inside is smaller than the one on the outside, so then there's a reason to take the outside rut, or there's more pre-made roughness on the inside than there is the outside, so then it makes it it balances out the rhythms. It's not like that at all. They just added 3 ruts of the exact same size in a corner, so you're always going to take the inside rut, right? And this more so like pre-made roughness, quote unquote, that they've added, it feels like they just plopped down a section of small whoops before a corner more than it actually feels like proper pre-made braking bumps, okay? You see the difference? This is like amateur level pre-made track design here. As far as roughness and ruts, this is the kind of pre-made you would have had on, like, Untamed. That's really what this is. And the biggest thing about this game, it's all visual. Okay? The terrain deformation, everybody wants to hear about that. It's 100% visual. You do not feel it at all. When the graphics looks like there's ruts all over the track, all those little micro-looking ruts, those are 100% soft, cushiony, movable. You don't even feel them at all. That's the definition of this game. It's all visual. It's not physical at all. It's a big scam. It's a big trick. It's trying to trick your eyes into thinking you're physically hitting all these ruts when you're really not. Okay? This game doesn't even have as much of a physical feeling to the terrain deformation that MXGP 3 had. Okay? You really got to sit there and marinate in that thought process. MXGP 2020 didn't even have a visual terrain deformation. This has kind of brought back that what you had in a couple of those Supercross games where it was all visual. It visually looks like it's making all this deformation, and you can't physically feel it at all. Not even as much as you felt the terrain deformation in MXGP 3. guys. The gameplay is still slow and boring. It's just slow. It's slow. There's no fun factor to this game. There's no jump fun factor. There's just nothing to it. It really feels like Milestone didn't even care about this game at all. Not even in the slightest way. I mean, it is straight up getting to that point where it's just like, do you even care anymore about your MXGP games, Milestone? Do you really even care anymore? I mean, oh man. There is so many bugs. There is so much horse shit. You can't even put it in one video, man. You really can't. But like, I can only imagine you boys going in here and playing through the career mode and getting on that slower, like 250 or 125. When I say boring gameplay, oh my gosh, dude. Like, even for an arcade motocross game, this is mind-numbing levels of boring. There's just nothing to it. There's no physical terrain deformation. There's no jump fun factor. There's no jump skill gap. The speed of the game is so slow that it's boring as hell. The collision is literally like bumper car simulator, Mario Kart level collision, okay? There's just nothing fun about this game. That's the only thing I can come back around to. It's so much more of the same than it is something new. This is not $60 new motocross, AAA motocross game worthy. This is $25 at the maximum. And it's just, even at that, I mean, it's like just a slap in the face to all of the fans of MXGP 2019 and 2020. It's just a slap in the face, dude. That's all this is. Like, I don't even know if terrible is the word anymore at this point. I really don't. You got one singular free ride compound, same old standard woodland, basic, boring bullshit. This is not like, oh, now you're getting more to that reflex style free ride track. No, it's the same repetitive, basic, boring, barely come off of the ground, boring. Go in there and ride around the shit one time, and then that's it. That's the kind of feeling I have with this entire game. You go in there and ride on all the tracks once, in the free ride compound once, and that's really the extent of the replayability of the game. This is the lowest replayability, I swear to God, there's ever has been in any Milestone game ever for its time.
What the fuck?
It just is. Like, it is so bad. It is so bad. And it gets to that point, like, is it bad or is it terrible? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's more of a word I could use. God awful. A slap in the face to all of the Milestone fans. Nothing really new to this game at all. Anything that you could say is even remotely new, quote unquote, to this, I promise you, should have been put in MXGP 3. I mean, it's like, what is there? I'm just at a loss of word. It's like,
what the fuck?
it's pretty bad when you get to the point where Wyndham 151 is starting to actually be really critical about this game. That should go to tell you a little something about how shitty this game really is. The rain mode in the game, that's another thing. The rain mode is complete dog shit. It's boring. All the rain mode is more friction to the dirt. It just slows your bike down even more. The tracks do not feel slick. They don't feel anything like that. There's been no upgrade to the rain mode. The track editor. Let's get on the track editor. The same exact module pieces you've been getting in MXGP 2020 and 2019. Same module pieces. It's not like, oh, we gave you some Supercross game module pieces so you can make cool, like, Supercross hybrid style tracks in our motocross game. No. It's the same bullshit, rolled off jump faces, same exact module pieces, no different kind of dirt compounds, no adding roughness or ruts to your custom tracks, because it's a fucking motocross game. There's none of that. No ruts to the custom tracks, no roughness to the custom tracks, no different dirt compounds, no Supercross module pieces, not even new motocross module pieces. I swear to God, people that are defending this game, you gotta be joking. You gotta be trolling if you're defending this at this point. It was one thing to defend MXGP 2019 or 2020, but we're to that point now. Oh my God, you're so far past the point of being able to defend this. The terrain deformation, when I say you can't feel it, I'm not talking you can feel it a little bit, like, well, Spence, when you really get a big rut there, you can feel it a little bit. No, I'm talking you can't feel it at all. Like MXGP 3 terrain deformation is more down the road of, it's hard to feel it, but you can eventually barely feel it when you get a big enough of a rut dug somewhere. That's not how this is. This is, you can't even feel it at all. Just imagine a terrain deformation system in a AAA motocross game in 2021, and you can't feel it at all. It's 100% visual. There's no more defense. There's no more excuses. I'm just letting you know, Milestone, you've lost a lot of fans by what you've done here with MXGP 2021. You've lost so many hardcore fans of your games. You're going to see so much of a negative impact from this. I can only imagine when you boys start getting in there on the spreadsheets like, holy shit, we sold 1/4 of the amount of copies of MXGP 2021 that we did of MXGP 2020. Oh my God. Again, do the graphics look great? Yes. Is this game entirely a visual eye candy game? Yes. That's the definition to these MXGP games now. All they are is next-gen eye candy. That is it. That's all they are, dude. And then it's like micro little improvements to the track designs that you should have had fucking 7 games ago. And then, but there's so many elements of this game that it felt like they went backwards. The physics to me feel like they went backwards, certainly with the bugs. Some of the tracks feel even more narrow than they did in 2020 or 2019. You're going the wrong fucking way, Milestone. Why are you making these fucking tracks 1-to-1 scaling? This is an arcade motocross game. You know, there's a little thing called fun factor. Oh, no. Your MXGP games do not have that at all. Yeah. I don't even think we want to go there because these games do not have that at all. There is no fun factor to this. If you're going to spend your money on anything, put it into Reflex, MX Simulator, or MX Bikes way before you ever think about spending it on this. And neither one of those games are the price of this game. So just imagine. I mean, oh my gosh. Even the most paid Milestone YouTuber neutral boys are starting to come out and talk about how bad this is. That means it's pretty motherfucking bad, dude. It's pretty bad, dude.